Right, guys. Next thing we're moving on to is something called indices. Just to let you know what indices are, if you've ever seen something like this, 2 squared, we should know that that means 2 times 2. Okay, 2 with a 4 up there. Now this is the indices part where the 2 is there and the 4 is here. Okay, well that just means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 4 times. So this 4 here is telling us how many times we're timesing the 2 together. So the indices is the power that we're raising our number to. Okay, just do one more to make sure you're entirely sure. 2 to the power 3, well that'll just be 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, very nice, very simple. Now, what you need to be able to do with indices is a few simple things. Okay, you need to be able to pick up the rules that are involved, sort of general rules, so that you can apply them to any case. So, if I had something like 2 squared multiplied by 2 to the power 3, I need to be able to come up with a quick way of writing what this would be. So if we write out 2 squared, we know it's 2 times 2. If I write out 2 cubed, I'll do this in blue so you can make clear which bit's which. 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, and we're timesing these together. Hopefully you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2s, so it'd be 2 to the power 5. Now you've probably already spotted what sort of a rule we're looking at here, but I'll just do one more example so that you're entirely sure. Okay, if I do 3 to the power 3 and I times that by 3 to the power 5, just bear with me whilst I write this out. 3 to the power 3 is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 to the power 5 is 3 times 3 times 3. That's 3 so far, times 3 4, times 3 5. Okay, they're being times together. Alright, I've got, if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 3 to the power 8, which brings us to our first first rule when we're working with indices, which is if we have a number, let's call it A, so we're making a general rule now. Okay, A. Now the number, so on all these examples, we did 2 to the power whatever times 2 to the power whatever, 3, 3. The number has to be the same, but as long as the number's the same, we'll call the indices M and N. Hopefully you've spotted all that you have to do to find the simplified version is A obviously stays the same, and now these two, hopefully you've spotted, we just add them together, M plus N. Alright, so for instance here 2 and 3 made 5, here 3 and 5 made 8. So that's your first rule when you're working with indices. A to the power M times A, so it's got to be A and A, to the power N, we just add them together, M plus N. Okay, that's rule 1. Now second one, so I even call it rule 1. Second one, if we now look at something like this, 4 to the power 4 divided by 4 to the power 2. Now I'm going to write this out in full, so 4 to the power 4 is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, and I'm going to divide that by 4 squared is 4 times 4. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cancel out, because we're multiplying, multiplying here, we can cancel things on top and bottom. So I'm going to cancel that 4 with that 4, and that 4 with that 4, and I'm left with simply 4 squared, 4 squared. So hopefully you've spotted Alright, what's happening here as well? I'll do another one for you. 5 to the power 6 divided by 5 to the power 2. Alright, I'm going to write them out in full again. So 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, a bit long-winded, times 5. 5, they're not S's, they're 5s, and I'm going to divide this, excuse my, oh no, pretty straight, divide this by 5 squared, 5 times 5. Okay, do my cancelling again. I'm going to cancel 5 there with a 5 there, 5 with a 5. I'm left with, hopefully what you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 5 to the power 4. Now hopefully what you've spotted, if you're awake, and you've not got Facebook open, is that here 4, 2, so essentially we're just taking away 4 take 2 gives us 2 here, 6, 2, 6 take 2 gives you the 4 there. Alright, so let's come up with a rule then for this one. So the rule we're looking at here, rule 2 we'll call it, rule 2, is that if we have, again we'll use A, right, I'll just flip back, notice it was always 4 and 4, you know, work with whatever powers, 5 and 5, that's a 5, not a 6. Rule 2 we'll say A to the power M, use M again, divided by A to the power N. Right, what did we say? We said we just took them away. Alright, is equal to A to the power M minus N. Right, so quick example, if I've got 7 to the power 8 divided by 7 to the power 3, I've shown you why this works, the cancelling thing. We just do 8 take 3 is 5, so the answer is 7 to the power 5. Okay, nearly done, just one more thing to look at. Hopefully you've been making notes as you've been going through. Last thing, okay, is now if we have, let's say, 2 squared, and this time we're going to square all of that. So let's write out what this actually means. 2 squared means 2 times 2, so that's that part. I'm going to stick that in a bracket. Now, what does squared actually mean? It means times by itself, doesn't it? So 2 times 2, and we're going to times that, 2 times 2, by another 2 times 2. Alright, well 1, 2, 3, 4, we end up with 2 to the power 4. Okay, we may have spotted already what's going on here. I'll do another example. 5, we'll say cubed, and we're going to cube that. So let's see what happened. Well, 5 cubed means 5 times 5 times 5. Get my brackets round again. Cubed, well, we've already seen, if we go back all the way here, when something's cubed, it's just times by itself 3 times. So what we've got to do here is times this whole thing by itself 3 times. So 5 times 5 times 5. It's times that by another 5 times 5 times 5. I've done it twice, so we said 3 times, and another 5 times 5 times 5. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 of them. So 5 to the power 9. Now hopefully you've spotted what's happening here. Alright, we had 2 squared, all squared gave us 2 to the power 4. We've got 5 cubed, all cubed, then end up with 5 to the power 9. So in terms of a rule this time, if you've not already spotted it, rule 3, alright, we're going to be using these in the lesson. Alright, rule 3, use A again, A to the power M. Alright, if all that is raised to the power N, meaning how many times it's going to be times by itself, to get your answer you just do A and then M times N. Okay, or if you wanted to write that in proper algebraic form, you don't write your times sign, so M, N. Okay, so let's just have a look at a quick example and then I'll let you go. Say we have 6 to the power 4, all cubed. Well, if I look at my rule, I'm just tying the numbers together, so the answer would be 6 to the power 12. And I've shown you why that works here. Alright, so you should have made notes. You need those 3 rules written down and examples. This is a little more tricky than last time's flipped homework, so I expect notes, and I'll be checking those in the lesson. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.